Well, that was kind of weird and awful. Let me turn this light on. That's a little bit too much light. I think my hair is still awful. Anyway. I think, oops, my hair is still awful. Mute. I don't know that anybody's here, but it is Tuesday and it is 9:15 my time, and I have not done Techy Tuesday yet. So I'm just going to dive into a techie lesson, and we're going to have that. And if anybody comes in, fantastic. We'll chat when I'm done. And if not, well, thanks anyway. I hope you're catching the replay. I'm Lorrie, and it is Techy Tuesday. Let's learn how to play with Photopea selection tools. So let me just share my screen. And I'm going to share that screen. And I'm actually going to pull this over here so I can kind of ignore it. And I'm going to go to Photopea, PHOTOPEA.com. So as you remember, we have been learning about Photopea. So today we're going to learn how to play with the different selection tools. So the ones that we're going to look at are the marquee selection. We have a rectangle and an ellipse. We have lasso tools. We have a lasso, a polygonal lasso, and a magnetic lasso. So we'll try all of those. We also have a magic wand. And I'm not familiar with the quick selection or the object selection, but we'll see about those when it happens. So I'm going to actually take myself off of here and just go straight to that. Okay, so I'm going to open a file from my computer. I clicked on this little open from computer. Hopefully it doesn't lock up. The last time I was in here, my whole computer locked up. I had to reboot. That's why I was late. Crazy. That's hilarious that the last thing I opened was John and his mankini. I wonder if we can do our lesson on selection with that. Too funny. Oh my goodness. Let's go to Photoshop lessons. Some of these I just downloaded today. And we're going to open these two. And we'll see what happens. Can I open two with Photopea? I know I can with Photoshop. Yeah, sure as heck. Okay, so this one is really small, and so that's why I was hoping to get something a little better. So this should work, although, like, I don't have the original files anymore that came with the book that I have. And so we're just kind of winging it with what we have, but these are the files that they use in here. And so the first one is actually one of my favorite tools that we're going to use, and it is the magic wand tool. So it is this one here. It's the fourth one down, and if that's not showing the magic wand tool, you might have to click on it and select the magic wand tool. And then you'll see, oh, why don't I see? Oh, it's taking its time. Sorry. I should see a little sparkly magic wand. But let's try it. I'm going to try. Let's see. What do I have? I have a magic wand. And I want to have this selected. 0 pixels. Tolerance, I want to put up to 100. And then I want it to be anti-alias and contiguous. Okay. I still got spinnies. What's going on here? Now, let's see. Oh, hi, Joe. Hi, Freddie. Anyway, it should turn into, yeah, there we go. Okay, so it did. It selected a little bit. So now we're going to expand the selection. And I think I hold down you hold down the shift key and you click on it some more. And I'm just clicking until I have all of this red selected. And then I can grab my move tool and I can move my tomato. Oops, I missed the green part. Too funny. Okay, so let's hold down my shift key again and click. Oh, it's not going to let me let go of my tool. There we go. Get my magic wand again. There we go. So now I've got the green and the red selected, and I can grab my move tool and I can move my whole tomato and put it however I want. So that's one of the selection tools. Okay, and so then we have, let's go up here to our rectangle selection tool. Now when I click off of this, it will stop. You can see I have it still active. I could edit and cut that, and then I could paste it. Wow. And now, as you can see, I have another layer over here in my layers. So that gives me the option of putting that where I want it. And I have 2 layers now. So anyway, let's look at our ellipse select. And so you can just hold and click that. We're going to try and get this little guy right here. Okay, so it's almost the right size. Now I need to adjust it a little, so I'm wondering, can I move it? Or do I want this artboard tool? Oh, I don't know. I'm not used to that one either. Ah! I don't know what I did there. Crazy. Oops. I guess I should practice these things beforehand. I've only done this stuff in Photoshop, so I've never actually done it in Photopea. So things do work a little bit differently. I can reposition my marquee however I want it. Now I want to make sure that my background layer is selected, right? Because otherwise I'm going to be trying to select something on my tomato layer and it's not. Now I was hoping that I could rotate this, but I don't seem to be able to. I can in Photoshop, so that's kind of irritating. But anyway, I can make my oval. I don't have a lot of options for it, do I? That doesn't make me happy. Ah, there we go. There's my, oh, see, it already selected it though. That's not what I wanted. No, don't do that. Okay, well, forget everything I've said for the last 5 minutes. Hi, Anne. How are you? Hi, Farman HVAC. But anyway, so you can draw circles. Oh, this is now a square. So I can draw a square and I can select something. And now if I wanted to move that, I could just move the whole thing all over the place. Let's see. I'm going to go over here to my history and go back to open and put it back to where it was right at the very beginning. Oh, you can also use your arrow keys when it's selected to move it. Okay, there was something else I wanted to show you in here. Oh, yes. Okay, so you see this little button here? We're going to go ahead and select that with our ellipse select. It's not at an angle, so I don't have to figure out how to do that too. And I believe if you hold down the Shift key and start in the center, oh, no, that makes it the center. So now I have to move it. And it's too big. It's like I don't know what I'm doing. Ah! Let's try it again. Maybe it's the Alt key. Yeah, that's the one that goes from the center. So I can hold down my Alt key and go from the center and get my circle. Almost perfect. Can I move it now? See, I'm just pressing my arrow keys to move it to where I want it to be. Now I want to move this, but I also want to duplicate it. So I'm going to grab my move tool and I'm going to hold my Alt key and I'm going to move it. And ta-da-da, I've made 2 copies and 3 copies. Anyway, and you could just do that over and over for something that you wanted to make copies with. And let's see. Oh, selecting with the lasso tool. So the lasso is one of my favorites too. I just like these. Okay, so the magnetic lasso tool is fabulous. So we'll start with that. So we're going to come down here to the screen. So all you have to do is click, and then you just drag, and you see how it's automatically. It works best when you have a lot of contrast between colors, like we have here in this image. But you can see how it's just configuring itself to the lettuce because of the big contrasting colors. It does make it a little more difficult if you don't have any contrasting colors, but you can always go in and refine the edge afterwards. But there, look at how easy it was to get that lettuce. And now I could, what do I want to do with it? Well, let's go ahead and move it. Now I just have the lettuce, so I'm not pulling that background anymore, right? It's pretty easy to strip out a background that way with one of these. And then you also have the polygonal lasso, and that one you just click and drag, and you make the shape. And when you double click, it finishes it. So you can make it whatever shape you want, and you can make as many turn points as you want. Oops, probably don't want to cross over myself. You make whatever shape you want, and then when you get back to the end, you just double click and you can see it made my shape. Stop, go back there. Anyway, and then of course with your move tool, you could move it, you can warp it, you can spin it. Can I warp it? Ooh, puppet warp. Let's just do a straight warp. So I can warp it. Do all kinds of weird, funky things with it. Anyway, so let's go back to open. Well, some things are easier than others, Freddie. And it helps that I have been I think I started learning this program about 20 years ago. So I've been playing in Photoshop for a long, long time. I don't know that I ever really used this one, lasso. But you can draw whatever shape you want, and again, when you get to the end, you just kind of hook them together, and there's your shape. You can, if you're in, you can hover inside of it. You see how it turned into that double arrow while I was inside there? So I can move that wherever I want to. And then I could come in here and grab this move tool and actually move just that, right? And then I could spin it, I could warp. I mean, not that I'd want to, right? But anyway. Let's see, what else? What other tool haven't we used out of these? Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna have to learn these two myself before I try and show anybody them. And then there's just the rectangle select. So it just depends on what you're trying to get a hold of as to which one of these tools that you will use. And that is going to be it for my lesson, Techy Tuesday, for today. I'm not going to say goodbye, though. I'm going to pop into chat and see how everyone is doing. So we'll pull this over here. I'll stop sharing my screen. Yeah, well, I have practiced a lot, but this program I haven't practiced a whole lot with. I am just learning it. But I have done Photoshop. I've had Photoshop, and you can see, well, you can't see my screen anymore, but but I did have it down there. Anyway, I said I would only go live once a month with the Techy Tuesdays, but it was getting to be so late, and I hadn't recorded anything yet, so I wanted to pop in and get a Techy Tuesday on the books so that it was there and actually on a Tuesday instead of like last week where I also was behind and it didn't get put up until Wednesday. Thank you, Joe. I know I have a couple of people who actually depend on these Techy Tuesdays because they're trying to learn these programs. One of them being, I'm hoping, my niece and my younger sister are going to be trying to play with it a little bit. So, but it's good. If you're interested in learning more, I did go over some of the very basics about what the different tools are and where they are and kind of how you grab them and use them. And it looks really intimidating at first. I know I was certainly intimidated the first time I sat down with Photoshop or Photopea. But as you break it down into its pieces, it's just a little bit of everything. Anyway, I guess I am just going to close out for tonight rather than doing a full-on chat. That's probably 20 minutes is probably a good time for a Techy Tuesday. So thank you so much to those of you who popped into the live. I really appreciate seeing you. And for anybody who's watching the replay, you got to be on time next time. These are going to go fast, these Techy Tuesdays. Have a wonderful night, everybody. I will see you soon. Bye now.